are you ready for a sprint or an Olympic? Even just 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Clean bikes are fast bikes. Morning, Trainiacs. Yesterday, I told Pat that I've entered Ironman 70.3 Austin, and I gave him the go-ahead to give me a ticket to the pain train. And then later yesterday, I also told him to go easy on me because I don't know if I'm quite ready for the full treatment. Which then brings to mind, are you ready to do a triathlon? And I think this is a two-part video. We'll do one another day. This will be, are you ready to do a triathlon, period? Like, where do you start? If you're coming from another sport, if you're coming from no sports, if you're coming from all the sports, if you're coming from an injury, if you're coming from sickness, just in general, like, are you ready to do that first triathlon? Let's do it. Friggin' high performance kids jump in for a warm-up that's faster than my sprint today. All right, so are you ready for your first triathlon? Well, we're gonna have a couple of caveats to determine this. Number one, I want to assume that we're talking about just sprint or Olympic triathlons. Can you finish an Ironman or a half-Ironman for your first race? Yes, absolutely. But we're going to talk about that in another video. But in the case of most people's first triathlons, I recommend that you do a sprint or an Olympic. Even if your main goal is to do an Ironman or a half-Ironman, I would recommend doing a sprint or Olympic as like a test event so that you know what you're getting into. So then the question becomes, all right, are you ready for a sprint or an Olympic? I'm gonna give away a secret here. Yes, you are. Everyone can do it. They're not that hard. Now, are you going to have a drop-dead, kick it in the balls kind of race? Well, that depends on your fitness coming in. So overall, are you ready to start training for a triathlon? Everyone is. Yes, as long as you are structurally healthy, and by that I mean you don't have any injuries that a doctor or a physiotherapist won't say, don't be doing any activities. You're not recovering from surgery. You don't have any lingering illnesses. You don't have any immune deficiencies. Basically, if all your medical professionals say that you're healthy enough to train, have at it. Beyond that, you shouldn't have any excuses. Start doing it. Now you might be saying, well, Taren, I don't have any sort of history in endurance sports. I'm not built to run. I haven't ever done anything like this. I've never played a sport in my life. That's cool. You're starting in the same place that a lot of triathletes are. When I first started running and thinking about doing a triathlon, I would literally run the length of a house lot, like 50 feet. And then I would walk 3 house lots, 150 feet. And then I would run 50 feet. That was literally how much I was able to run when I first got started. My first bike, after 20 years of not biking since I was a kid, I went out and I did 9 kilometers and it shattered me. But everyone has to start. You got to start somewhere. So just start. A great place to start getting information on how to start, when to start, where to start is right here with this Trainiac community. Go ahead and binge watch a good, I don't know, around 277 videos or so and you'll be up to speed. Or you can go to triathlontaren.com/coaching where my coach, Coach Pat, has designed all of the coaching programs from sprint to half-Ironman for people who have a slight base of fitness. If you can run a little bit for 5 to 10 minutes, bike for 20 to 30, and swim for 5 minutes, even if you're not that good a swimmer, we've got a swim training program. Designed all of those for as simple as, do you have the equipment? Do you want to start? Here you go. So now that the should you start is out of the way, which again is a hell yes, the question becomes, am I ready to do the race? And what I'll do here is I'll give you some rules of thumb for how much you should be able to do in the swim, the bike, and the run. Not all together, but like individually, to know if you're going to be able to have not necessarily like a pro level personal best, but at least have a race that you can be confident going into and knowing that 100% you are going to finish. So in a sprint, I would say that if you can swim even just 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. There's a lot of information on this channel that will help you get through that swim portion, even if it's something that scares you. We've got information on how not to panic, where you should position yourself so that you don't get knocked around, what kind of goggles you should have, how to sight, all kinds of things that'll make that first swim seem fairly effortless and not a really scary thing. And you know what? Once you put on a wetsuit and you get to a race and the excitement is going on, the 10 to 15 minutes that you might be doing in a pool will actually seem really easy in a race because it'll be exciting, it'll be fun, you'll want to do it. Now, as far as the bike goes, it's a 20K bike in a sprint, so if you can bike upwards of about 25 to 30 kilometers in one single setting, doesn't matter what the time is, that should be enough. And then as far as the run goes, if you can run about 6 to 7 kilometers non-stop, doesn't even have to be non-stop, you can walk and run it. And you can use the recommendations that we have doing a few brick workouts so that you have the ability to run off of the bike, then you'll be good. And if you look at all of these distances, you're talking about a 15-minute swim, a 30K bike, which you should be able to do in an hour to an hour and a half, and you only need to do a couple of those before your race, and a run which might take you a half an hour to 45 minutes outside of your race. These are very manageable goals that you can set in the few months leading up to your race. It's not like it's gonna take you days and months and weeks of like constant punishing training. Just do a little bit, consistently pick away at it, and do that first sprint race. Now, as far as an Olympic race goes, the approach is very much the same. Do some brick workouts, watch a bunch of Triathlon Taren swim tip videos. The distances are just a little bit longer. And if you can swim off and on, start and stop, but swim for a total of 1,500 to 2,000 meters over the course of an hour, you're gold. If you can bike for a total of about 50 kilometers over the course of 2 to 3 hours, you're gold. And if you can run, say, 11 to 12K over the course of an hour to an hour and a half, you're set. Sprint or an Olympic distance triathlon are not nearly as intimidating as you might think. They aren't made for just superhuman athletes. They are made for badass athletes. They are made for athletes that just want to conquer some fears and take on a challenge that's new to them. And I guarantee you that once you conquer that challenge and you realize how much fun it is and how unintimidating it is, you're gonna have coworkers, family, friends that are intimidated by how awesome you are. And then you're gonna wanna keep going. I guarantee it. Triathlon is like drugs. It's so addictive and it's probably more expensive. All right, I got to take back dead drone and get home for a meeting. We gotta hurry. We gotta hurry. Come on. Trainiacs, yesterday I went on a ride and it was sloppy. I think I'm still picking little bits of Headingley Road out of my teeth. And if I want any hope of keeping up on the ride tomorrow, I gotta have a clean bike. Clean bikes are fast bikes. Has anyone ever tried floss threaders in the Trainiac community? Fellow triathlon YouTuber named Triathlon Taren told me about them, and I can't find anyone around here that's used them. Comments below if you've used Cogset floss threaders, degreasers, something like that. And that is how easy it is to change the batteries on the PowerTap P1 power pedals. Love these guys. Bam, just like that, done. Basically no stains on my hands, no stains on my nice clothes. I'm quitting for the day. Gotta end on a high note, Trainiacs.